I have received an influx of requests, email, by mail, by phone, from you guys requesting assistance with evictions and with foreclosures. Okay. I do have experience in foreclosures because, again, I, kind of helped myself and saved my own property from fraudulent foreclosure. And I wanted to take the opportunity to go over with you guys some things that you may not be aware of and that you may not have noticed with the correspondence that you receive regarding a foreclosure or an eviction. I am not in the position, I do not have the resources to take on clients for something like foreclosure and eviction. The cost associated with that and the time, I just do not have to invest into such, litigious work. I can't. The best that I can offer is arming you with information. It may not be something that you want to hear, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is not what you want to hear, but I can provide you with information and tools that you can use to help yourself. This is for entertainment purposes only. You are under no obligation to follow this advice. You can seek whatever avenue you feel is best for your situation. On the screen, okay, you see a complaint for wrongful detainer. All right, this looks official, right? It looks like it has some kind of distorted seal here, raised, right? It has District Court of Maryland and it has the date that it was e-filed. So no one walked into the court. They sent this through a computer. Okay, they filed this electronically where they could not be seen or identified. They filed this electronically into the court. Some of you have received very similar foreclosure notices or eviction notices, all right, from some entity stating that they are a court. And it has information regarding, like here for box number 1, I have redacted the individual's private information, but it is associated with some sort of property management company. Okay. And I've rented before. When you sign a lease, you may not be aware. When you sign a lease, you are granting an asset. You are granting funds to the leasing company. In exchange, you hold an apartment as collateral pending payment of the obligation. So the property is the lease. And since the property is the lease, that makes you the landlord of the property. Okay. You are not the tenant. That is misrepresentation. The apartment is not the property in question. I'll go into explanations a bit later about addresses. Okay. I'll hit on it. I'll touch on it briefly, not to overwhelm you with too much information. But the property in question here is the lease. And in the lease, you provided a social security number. You endorse the bottom of the lease on the bottom right-hand side, like you would when you go to the bank and you get a cashier's check and they are signing the bottom, authorizing the check. Okay, but in this case, you were unaware that you were issuing a security to the leasing company. You were under a different impression, okay, of what was going on. And so since you have lived on your rental property, you have not received payment from this management company that promised you in the lease, in the terms that they were going to pay you. Okay, they were going to pay you for, let's say, 12 months. Rent is $1,000 per month. They were to pay you for granting them credit up front through the lease agreement, okay, for 12 months. Those were the terms. But since you didn't understand the transaction, you did not know who you were in the transaction, the employees that's working at the management company, they have all also been brainwashed. Okay, so since all of this negligence is occurring and no one knows who is who in a transaction, unfortunately, you have been stuck with the rent. And to add insult to injury, you're paying 2 times because that uh, lease has been used as collateral. It was exchanged. Everything in America, as I've stated in previous videos, is exchanged. So it was exchanged at the Federal Reserve. It's just paper. It was exchanged for paper of a different issue, which is what we call cash. They take it to the Federal Reserve. They give it up to the Federal Reserve as collateral. The Federal Reserve charges interest because the management company is utilizing the Federal Reserve system, okay, to exchange. So the Federal Reserve acts sort of as a currency exchange, and they exchange your lease for Federal Reserve notes or cash, whatever you want to think of it in your mind. And then now the management company has to pay interest back to the Federal Reserve Bank as well as you. Okay, so they are supposed to pay that interest back to the Federal Reserve Bank, and you. But what has happened is, again, negligence. The employees don't know this. You don't know this. And so all of this negligence has occurred, and this inflation is getting out of control because now the management company has passed on all the fees to you. So when you wonder why, like, oh, my rent was $1,000 last year, but this month it's $1,250. It's because the money, the currency is inflated. And now to compensate that, the money is losing value because just exchangement is not occurring. Only usury is taking over. So since just exchangement is not occurring, the money is becoming more and more worthless, meaning you need more and more cash to cover your expenses. Okay, and so the property management company, since you don't know who you are in the transaction, you don't understand any of the words or the verbiage in the lease, they get to be negligent and you're negligent, but your negligence is very costly. Okay, so to continue forward, number one, this is the plaintiff. I redacted the name of the company to, protect the individual's privacy and their information. Okay. The property company, if you look over here, it says versus, and then it says all occupants. Okay. Who is that? Who is all occupants? You kind of have to get smart in these instances. If this property management company had an agreement, wouldn't the name of the individual that signed the lease be here? Don't they know who's occupying that residence, right? You have to ask yourself, you have to look at these things. This looks suspicious. Okay, suspicion should be the first thing to pop to your mind. I know sometimes fear is the first emotion, but suspicion. Why are they referring to persons living at this address as all occupants instead of why didn't they name me? And if they didn't name me, are they talking to me? Does this have anything to do with me, or is this some form of a scam? Okay, we're going to read further. This is a complaint for wrongful detainer. We're going to define what a wrongful detainer is. You have to define the words in order to understand what is being said to you. Okay. And so like the individual that sent this to me asking for help, I'm unable to provide them with individual assistance because, again, I don't have the time nor the resources. And it would be negligent on my part to, say, hey, yeah, I can help you. And I'm unable to dedicate the time and the resources and the energy that's necessary to get the resolve that the person is seeking. Okay, so that would be negligent on my part, but I decided that, hey, listen, I know there are others that are in similar situations that can benefit from this. Okay, but the individual is scared out of their mind. And so what happens, like when you're scared, like look at, I don't know if you guys watch nature videos, but I do. And so when I watch nature videos and you watch like predators, right, when they're coming up on a herd, the first thing that they do is that they charge it. And so the reason for this tactic is that the predators want the prey to all scatter in different directions so that in that fear, in that frenzy, it's easy to pick them off. But if they kind of, okay, yes, I'm being chased by a predator. Yes, I am scared. Okay, but if they stop and took a moment, but wait a minute, we outnumber them. We're bigger than them. You know, we have horns. Okay, we're kind of armed against them. That would change the likelihood of them becoming victims to the predators. But this is a common tactic, and they use the same tactics in commerce. Right? They send you these letters, and the first thing you feel, I remember what I felt when I got intent to foreclose. I felt fear. I was scared. I was. So I get it. I understand. But fear, okay, it can drive you in the wrong direction when really what you need is understanding. You have to try to wrap your mind as best as you can around the situation and then start taking steps into resolving it. Okay. So again, all occupants, this has no name on it. And I don't think the individual who received this notice paid attention to that it's not addressed to them. Okay, this is beginning to look like a scam, a phishing scam to be precise. Okay, and we'll talk about phishing and scams in a moment. I want to continue reading. Okay, plaintiff alleges that the defendants, which is all occupants, the defendant holds possession of real property known as, the redacted is the individual's private home address. Okay. The defendant is not entitled to possession of the property under law. Who? All occupants? That's a true statement. Yeah, all occupants are not entitled to possession. That's a true statement. Okay. The defendant has not been granted possession under a current valid court order. That so far so good, because all occupants has not been granted possession under a current valid court order. Who the hell is not all occupants? Okay. The plaintiff does not have a remedy. Plaintiff, this corporation, the plaintiff does not have a remedy under Title 8 of the Real Properties article. That's true as well. They do not have a remedy. Okay, they have no recourse. Actually, they have no business even sending this to the individual, and they are admitting that. But if you would take a moment to read these things, you have to, even when you are scared. Okay, you have to take a moment to read it and try to understand it, because if not, these people will scare you to the point where you make a mistake and they got you. Okay. No other exclusive remedy to recover possession of the property is provided by statute or rule. That's true as well. Because how do you recover property? Who is all occupants? Okay. This is like when I read this, I was thinking in my mind, like, people need to be thrown in jail for this. Okay. This should be punishable by jail time. And if we do not press the issue, okay, if we do not listen, this is illegal. This is phishing. At number 6, I'm going to read this one slow. This is the winner here. Okay. As a result of the wrongful detainer, the plaintiff has incurred damages of, there is no value written in this box. There is nothing written there. So what relief is the plaintiff seeking by which remedy can be? What are you seeking? What is it that you want? They said, oh, we don't want nothing. Failure to state a claim. That's what I'm thinking of. Failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. As a result of the wrongful detainer, the plaintiff has incurred damages of nothing. There is nothing here. Court costs and attorney fees of nothing. Nothing is written there. This is a scam. Plaintiff requests that this court immediately summons the persons in possession to court to show cause, if any, why possession of the real property described in paragraph 1 should not be restored to the plaintiff. Okay, well, who the hell is all occupants? All occupants should be summoned to the court to show cause, if any, why possession. So they want you. This is your property. Okay. Whoever this attorney is has been transferred. The lease has been endorsed over to them and they are now utilizing it. Okay. However, you do not have a lease with this attorney and they are well aware of that. You do not have an agreement with them. Okay. So they are utilizing your property. They don't name you. Okay. But they want you to claim that it's you. So now once you step into the role, they got you. Once you contact the court and you give them your name, it's voluntary. All of this is voluntary. They're trying to get you to pledge, to volunteer. So this attorney didn't just pick your name out of a hat. They have been transferred your security. They are in possession of your lease. Okay. And so they can't use your name. Your name is copyrighted. That's considered an asset. That's property. So not only do they not use your name, okay, they don't use your name, they don't state a value, and then they tell you, well, you come and show us why you shouldn't give us your stuff. You come in here and show cause to why you should keep your own stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, come and tell the court. Come and tell the court why your stuff shouldn't be given to me. Excuse me? The second box is checked. Possession of the premises and damages in the amount of plus attorney fees is blank and court costs in the amount of is blank. It's all blank. It's blank. Some of you have documents that are exactly like this. They do not name you. They don't have a value on them. And then it has some robo-signature by some attorney. Some attorney has signed this, that they are acting on behalf of whoever this property's company is. And they have given their bar license, which means they are accepting, they are the indemnifier, meaning they're putting their bar license up as insurance that this scam is going to go through. That's what their bar licenses are. It's insurance policies, because what they're doing is illegal, and we're going to go over that in the wrongful detainer. Okay. And all right, I solemnly affirm under the penalties of perjury that the contents of this document are true to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. There we go, that belief word. And I tell you, all this stuff is church. Okay. And they are swearing. So far, they have not really lied about much of anything. There are no damages. There are no fee. So if someone was evicting you, right? I mean, you kind of have to get smart and you have to think these things through. So if you're evicting me, I'm sure that there is a past due amount that you were wanting. Like if let's say I was 3 months past rent, the rent was $1,000 a month. Wouldn't they write $3,000? And unpaid rent was due? Why is that not written there? That's an attorney. The attorney doesn't have fees for doing any of this? No? Okay. All right. These are all called robo-signatures, and I'm going to go over this. Okay. Now, this next sheet was attached to the evictions. None of it is filled out. None. Sheriff constables returned to court. It says, I mailed a copy of writ of summons complaint and all supporting papers, first class. It should have had, what's the defendant's name? Oh, it's not all occupants? What's the defendant's name? What was the date or time? I served a copy of writ of summons complaint and all supporting delivery. The sheriff has nothing to do with this. This is a scam. No one has filled this out. There is no signature from a sheriff, no printed. Holy shit. I'm trying not to lose my cool. I said that I'm going to work on my temperament. But when I see things like this, I get carried away. I kind of get loud. I start to yell, and I am working on it. Okay. But this is not filled out. Okay. I am under the belief, quote unquote, that this is a scam. I am convinced of it. This is a scam. And this was attached, to this. It was the second, it was stapled together. Okay, and this was attached and there is nothing on it. The person I left the papers with acknowledged of being, one, a resident of the above listed addresses. It doesn't even matter what this says because nothing is filled in. So they delivered this to no one. And what they're hoping that you do, because you don't understand what they're saying, you have not paid attention to the name on it. You don't understand the words. They're hoping that you call them and give them a name. This is how phishing works. You're supplying a body, a name, your phone number, now they got you. That is what phishing is. Phishing can be done online, and it can also be done through the mail. This is a form of mail fraud. Now the envelope. This is the one that kind of blew me away. Okay. The envelope looks like it got a real seal on it, right? Oh, the office of the sheriff. Oh, really? Anyone can print this on a letter. If it came from the sheriff, why didn't he sign it? Someone is playing with this individual. It is a sick joke because this person is scared to death. This shit is wrong. So they copy some emblem on here saying, oh, it came from Sheriff Darren. I don't believe it. And if I was this person, I would not reach out to no, do not. I will give advice. Okay. This is only advice. This is not legal advice. This is based on, what do I want to call it? I guess advice from the postal inspectors, from USPS, from the FBI. I'm getting this directly from them. If you are a victim of this, this is what they're saying that you might want to consider to help your situation. Because this is starting to look, the mail, it is not addressed to her. Who is all occupants? Who is all occupants? My name is not all occupants, and you do not supply your name. You don't give it. Also, I want to forward your attention to this postage. What is NeoPost? This postage even looks fraudulent. This looks like fraudulent postage. Yes, there are a lot of companies out there that, oh, we offer, electronic postage. This was a terrible idea because now this looks like counterfeit postage to me. So this individual has a couple claims. Okay, this is phishing. It's not identity theft because the person have not been named. Okay, it constitutes also a form of banking fraud because this person's address, they are confusing, okay, the apartment where they live, they're confusing that with the mailbox. A lot of people do that. They are wanting possession of your mailbox, not the apartment. They want possession of the mailbox and all of its this is bank robbery. And they want you to explain why you should maintain possession. Didn't you go down to the post office and you have an agreement? It's unilateral in nature and only you are the one that can enforce it. But you open that post office box and now can you imagine, right? If someone walked up to you and just like to your account, like let's think of your own personal bank. And they began like, you know what? I have a better example. A lot of you may have experienced this. Okay. If you've ever used a gas pump and that gas pump had a card reader attached, right? When you would, scanner would scan your debit card's information, the first thing that it would do is that it would do like a 10-cent, something small like $1 or 10 cents, right? It would deduct like 10 cents from your account. And then the next time you checked it, it deducted like $400 or $500 from your account. And now you have to call the bank that is what's happening here, except with mail. Okay, so they deposited this fraudulent 64 cent, which I don't even believe they paid. Okay, so they deposited 64 cent into your post office box and they are looking to get a bigger payoff, similar to that credit card scanner at the gas station that maybe some of you guys, or maybe you haven't experienced it personally, but you know somebody that did. I've experienced it several times using my debit card at the gas station. And I would get like this little charge from the scanner because some crook attached a scanner to the card reader. So what this means is that when you stick your debit or credit card into the gas pump to try to pay for your gas, a scanner has been replaced so that the thief can see your card numbers and your CVV number on the back, and they can withdraw funds from your account. These individuals, and I don't think the sheriff is in on this, but these individuals are pulling a similar scam. If that makes sense to you. Okay, so I made a PowerPoint. I'm going to go over some definitions now that we have taken a look at that notice of eviction. Okay, I've brought some things to your attention that you may not have noticed before. So now we're going to go over some definitions. Okay, eviction. Eviction is the action of expelling someone, especially a tenant, from a property expulsion. But who is the tenant in this transaction? Are you the tenant or are you the landlord? Remember, the property is the lease. The apartment or house that you are living in is collateral, and you are entitled to hold that collateral until the management company that borrowed from you makes good on their promise from that lease. That would make you the landlord of that property. A tenant, a person who occupies land or property rented from a landlord. The tenant is the management company. That was a difficult concept for me to grasp, like when I first started learning this, because I could only think of the house or the apartment that I was renting as property. I could not understand how a lease is property. Even your name is property. And that's what's being leased out. Your name is being leased. Your social security number is being leased. If you lent that out. And so if you lent it or leased that property, who is the landlord here? The landlord would be you. Wrongful refers to actions or situations that are unjust, unfair, or illegal. In our little example, what they call it, they told you right here, this is a complaint for unjust, unfair, or illegal. Detainer, the term detainer refers to keeping something in one's possession without the legal right to do so. They are admitting this. So, wrongful detainer refers to actions or situations that are unjust, unfair, or illegal. Detainer refers to keeping something in one's possession without the legal right to do so. Specifically, it involves withholding from the rightful owner, which is you, something that has lawfully come into the possession of the holder, which is that attorney. For example, if someone unlawfully occupies property, the rightful owner, here it is, or the tenant can take legal action for a wrongful detainer. So they can claim, they can claim rights to the property. If you don't know that it's yours, it's kind of like finders keepers. Like if you were walking down the street, and you ran, I don't know, you came across something, some money or something, you pick it up, put it in your pocket. They are thinking of this and acting in the same manner as that. Finders keepers. If you don't know it's yours, then that's how this game is being played. And I'm not saying that it's right. But you have to know that this is your property. Let me see. The next thing I want to talk to you about is an apartment, because some of you guys don't understand the play on words, The address is not the apartment, The address is the mailbox. That is it. A mailbox, when you went to the post office, you were renting an apartment or a suite, so that you could do business. That was the box that you were going to use for business purposes. So if you have a family, so you, your husband, maybe if you have some adult or teenage kids that have jobs, we were all going to be sharing this mailbox, to receive all of our business correspondence. So in this wrongful detainer, they list that there is no name, and then they list the address. So they are wanting possession of your mailbox. Your mailbox is the apartment, not where you are. This is the mistake, that you see how words, if you don't understand in what context a word can be used in, how someone speaking to you can draw a totally different picture in your mind. This was the concept of spelling. Okay, this was spelling, that someone could say a word, and depending on how good you are, how good your wordplay is. Okay, and words spelled backwards is swords. So how good is your sword play? How good is your word play? Depending on how good you are, you would be able to defend yourself from this type of sorcery. Now, is it sorcery in terms of, oh, someone throwing a lightning bolt at you? No, but it feels like it, especially if you get evicted. So when you see the word apartment, like you guys have even seen mail that says suite. Don't they call like hotel apartments can be a suite? They are not talking about where you live. You're private. They're talking about your mailbox, and you have to know the difference. Okay, apartment. In the context of banking, a mailbox is indeed analogous. I could be saying that wrong. Analogous, I think. Did I get it right? Yes. I'm going to start over. In the context of banking, a mailbox is indeed analogous to an apartment or suite. Okay, so when they say apartment, you start thinking about, oh my God, where I live. No, that's not what they're talking about. And unfortunately, they have now gotten you to believe that that's what they were talking about. You were talking about your actual apartment. No. You're talking about a mailbox. And this mailbox it's your financial institution. It is your safety deposit box. They are trying to get you to surrender it. This is banking fraud. And then they want you as all occupants, whoever the hell that is, they want you to come to court and tell the court why you deserve to keep possession of your property. Are y'all out of y'all cotton picking minds? Just like an apartment or suite provides a designated living or office space, a mailbox serves as a designated space for receiving and sending mail within the banking system. Similarities. Both mailboxes and apartment suites offer a level of privacy. In an apartment or suite, residents have their own private space. Yes, you do. You have your own private mailbox with your own lock on it. Similarly, a mailbox ensures that each customer's correspondence remains confidential. Just as an apartment or suite has a specific address, a mailbox is assigned a unique address, usually a P.O. box number or mailbox slot where mail is delivered. This is why I am for everyone turning their addresses to P.O. boxes. So there is no confusion, because what's happening, like especially with these foreclosures, when they put your address on that notice, they're finna foreclose on your post office box, on your mailbox. Oh, you want my mail? Oh, you can have my mailbox, but you're not getting my house. You can have it. Okay? No, they cannot have your mailbox. I was being facetious. Okay, your mailbox stores financial value. And what they'll do, they'll take your mailbox, they'll go to the post office and ask, what is the value? How much is that post office box valued at? Every time someone sends you mail, the ledger is kept. That 64 cents or 35 cents or $300 penalty for private use that accumulates, and that has accumulated since you began renting. And every time you move, it forwards. And no one, including me, I have not figured out how to access the post office credit union yet. I have not figured out how to access the post office accounts, but I am working on it. But they want access to that account so they can claim that account and they can take insurance policies out against it. That's the double payment. Okay. While apartments and suites are physical spaces where people live or work, mailboxes are typically smaller and serve as collection points for letters, packages, and notices. Apartments and suites are multifunctional, serving as living quarters, offices, or meeting spaces. Mailboxes, on the other hand, are primarily for mail handling. Okay, so the words can be used interchangeably, but when we're talking about banking, they are using that address. They are referring specifically to your mailbox. And they're using your mailbox, if you think about it, when they are depositing notices of foreclosure. This is a scam, because not only are they trying to get your mailbox, they're trying to get you to believe that your house is the same as your mailbox, and it is not. And then they claim both 100, 200, 300% profit, because we don't know. Phishing. Okay, that's what I was talking about. Whoever this entity is that is trying to possess the individual, okay, by sending them that wrongful detainer, they are doing what's called phishing. You have heard of phishing before, but only in the context of like emails. But phishing can go, it could be text messages, it could be your USPS they use for phishing. A spear phishing scam is a targeted attack using personalized documents. Isn't this woman's, doesn't this individual's documents look personalized, right? It's convincing. That's how the scam works. You have to be convinced that this is real. Otherwise, it won't work. The scam. Often directed at, they tell us all the time that we are presidents, that we are executives, that, I mean, we're the top guns pretty much. Often directed at executives of financial departments. She's the executive of that management company, but she doesn't know it because she lent them money. That makes them a debtor. Or debtor, DEADER. That's how I hear it. Utilizes personal information to increase success rates. Okay, they didn't use her name, but they used her mailbox number. This is banking fraud. This is phishing. Bulk attacks sent to a wide audience. They are probably doing this with thousands of people who don't know this and taking advantage of them. Fraudulent mail appears to be from trusted sources, e.g., example, banks or government agencies. Didn't it say it was from a district court? How else are they going to get the money out of you if you don't believe that some sort of sheriff or authority figure is about to come down on you? The scam doesn't work if it's not convincing. They redirect users to fake locations, websites, or phone numbers to steal their information. The individual that sent this to me, she has to supply her name and information in order for them to pull this off. If she can keep her nerve and not provide any information, she can call in as a whistleblower because she's an executive to that management company. She's a fiduciary to it. And so if you're in a workplace and there is corruption, are you not a whistleblower? Yes, you are. You can remain anonymous, and I think you should. They are trying to get her to come forward and identify herself, so now all occupants can change to her name, and she did all of it voluntarily. They are trying to get you to pledge to volunteer. I would call the post office. We're going to get into that in just a moment. What to do if you encounter a suspicious mail scam. Suspicious USPS mail scams. Some individuals receive fraudulent mail that appears to be from the U.S. Postal Service. Okay, this was just an example. The U.S. Postal Service is just an example of where you could get mail from. This lady allegedly got mail from where? Okay, it doesn't have to be the U.S. Postal Service, but it's some form of office or posing as some type of government entity or some type of court. These deceptive letters or packages may claim an unsuccessful package delivery attempt or other urgent matters. Do not interact with the contents of such mail. How do they mean interact? Don't talk to them. Don't call them. This is a suggestion, not from me. I'm not giving you legal advice. This is simply solely for entertainment. I am just here to entertain you, okay? I'm just a voice in your head. This is from the USPS. If you are a victim of phishing, they said don't interact with the contents of such mail. Avoid clicking any links, downloading attachments, or providing personal information. They are trying to get this individual to interact, because that interact is consent to play they eviction game, that they scam that they're about to run against her. Reporting USPS mail scams. To report suspicious USPS mail scams, follow these steps. Forward the suspicious mail to the U.S. Postal Inspection Services. You should, this is just advice based on USPS. I recommend that you read their policies, read their instructions, okay? They suggest that you take pictures of the mail, the contents, okay, and file a complaint with the postal inspectors for phishing. Now, at a later time, I don't have the time right now. I have a few other things I need to take care of. I'm going to upload an example template that you can use. I'm going to upload that to the Google Drive. Okay, an example of complaints, like a sample letter, complaint letter that you can use. Forward the suspicious mail to the USPS Postal Inspection Service. If you suspect mail fraud, yes, including sweepstakes. These are gambling, sweepstakes, lotteries, online auctions, or chain letters. Forward the details to you're going to make an email to this email address. Read the instructions, because there may be instructions on, like, should you redact your name? Should you just make the complaint as a whistleblower? Are you anonymous? Do you just leave an email for them to interact with you? Okay, so you want to read the instructions. Patrick used to always say that this is a wagering monetary system. And like when he would say that, I was confused. How do you mean, Patrick? He said that the United States is nothing more than a big casino. Yes, this letter that they sent this lady is a phishing scam. And the wager is that they'll be able to take that mailbox and get the apartment from her. A double whammy. They'll be able to finesse her right out of her mailbox and out of the apartment that she's holding as collateral and doesn't know it. If you encounter suspected mail theft, report it by visiting the USPIS website or calling, and they have a number. You can call them, ask them questions. Y'all are looking for remedies, but y'all are acting scared. You want to know something from the IRS, or you want to know something from the Postal Service, or you need information from the FBI, call them or sit back and let them take your stuff from you. Those are your options. Counterfeit stamps. I was saying this a moment ago that this looks suspicious. This is suspicious. I believe it is counterfeit. You have two claims: mail fraud, phishing, and counterfeit stamps, and banking fraud. If you come across counterfeit postage, report it by emailing postage fraud reporting at uspis.gov. Okay? Cybercrime. Some of you guys only think of cybercrime, your mind, again, this is another one of those terms where your mind is limited on what a cybercrime is. Okay? Simply put, cybercrime are crimes committed via the internet or aided by a computer device. Was this not printed by a computer device? Are these not robo signatures made by a computer device? Are they not? Does this constitute a cybercrime? Yes, it does. Yes, it absolutely does constitute a cybercrime. Robo-signing, which is what this is. You need to get familiar with robo-signing. Robo-signing is where people are hired to sign documents that they never read. Listen to this negligent mess. In most cases, the people signing aren't qualified to authorize the decisions outlined in these documents. They are simply hired to sign as fast as possible. This is a scam. File complaint with FBI Internet Crimes Complaint Center. Okay, you have an FBI complaint now for cyber crimes. When you hear the word ransomware, the term "ware" on the end of it, it makes you think that it's only talking about computers. But like when you're receiving, let's say a repossession, that's a form of ransomware because a computer printed up that document. More than likely, a computer signature is on it. And they are telling you, if hey, you don't give me this money, I'm coming to steal. I'm coming to take your car from you. That's a ransom. That's ransomware. That's an FBI complaint. And I'll put some templates up in the Google Drive. And Patrick was saying this, that the FBI has been waiting on us to be able to identify these scams. They have, like, I have gotten help from the IRS. Some of them helped me. Yeah, you're going to run into some agents that are nasty. That's just whatever. But for the most part, they really do. They help me. But I had to sort of know what it was that I was talking about. Okay, I have to go. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Okay, in terms of the videos I removed, I know a lot of you are commenting and coming to your own conclusions. You're entitled to that. I removed the videos. I removed them. I restricted them. There are people out here fighting the postmasters, okay, to send their certified mail. There are people doing the change of address wrong and getting themselves investigated or getting themselves into trouble because they did not take any. That video was only a couple days old. There is no way that you have sat down and read and received and processed enough information to be doing any of this. My name is not on any of these procedures that you are following, and they're not my procedures. These are procedures from the IRS instructions or from the USPS instructions. I'm simply trying to dice it into small pieces for you to understand, so when that you go to read it, okay, it's easier to comprehend, if that makes sense. And because the public is abusing the information, okay, because you're in trouble or because you can do something, okay, and get yourself into more trouble because you don't understand what you're doing. Yes, I do want you to take action, but I want you to take informed action because your ass is on the line, not mine. This is your stuff. So, due to public abuse, I have removed it. I've restricted it. I have not made a decision as to it's my stuff. I've made this freely available to the public, and I've come to a conclusion that that is just a bad idea. It is. It is crazy. People out here fighting postmasters and carrying on. I appreciate your opinions, but allow me to make my own choices and decisions like you do. I will make the videos available in the future once I decide. Please do not share my videos. If you've recorded them on some sort of secondary device, I will strike them for copyright. Do not share my information. Any videos that were removed for a reason. I am sorry that everyone has to suffer, but again, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. That's a very true statement. Okay, I don't feel the need to delve any further into it. That is my decision, and it is final until further notices. To further notice, not notice is, but I will update you guys when I have come up with a better idea for delivering the information to you. I have been working on YouTube like memberships, so I can, get members and try to privatize as much as I can. We're in the process of setting up memberships, but people just started joining and subscribing and it's not ready. We're testing it out yet. So if you subscribe, let's say to like the level 3 package, okay, you're going to have to give us a little bit of time. I have not advertised the YouTube memberships because I was not sure if this was the direction of which I wanted to go, but I hired help to work on the YouTube. And then right as we, made it live to try to test it and make sure people just started subscribing. And I can't be held liable for that. Okay, so I am going to work on the memberships. Well, not me, but the higher help, because I don't know anything about these platforms. I'm doing the best that I can to learn as I go. I hope this video was helpful to you. I have some other things that I need to work on. I'm trying to answer you guys in the emails. Everything is the same as it was before. I'm still working to figure out how to deliver the next ebook. I don't have a specific date for you guys yet, but I do have some very, very good information I want to share in terms of repossession. Okay, I have some things I want to share, but again, I'm sharing all of my information. I'm sharing all of my privacy, and people are abusing it. So I have to sit and think about how am I going to deliver this because people are abusing it. And then they bitch at me and get angry with me as if I'm your mom. Okay, so I have to be careful from this point forward with the information that I'm sharing. I am trying to help, but if the help is hurting, okay, if you're getting yourself tangled up into trouble and you don't know how to get yourself out, you can't come and tell me, hey, how do I fix this and undo it? I don't know. Why would you do that and you had no idea what you were doing? Oh, because you said, oh, does this seem reasonable? If the IRS called you up or the postal inspectors called you up because you're doing changes of addresses, what are you going to say? A lady on YouTube told me. Does that sound reasonable? Yeah, I'm giving advice. I'm not giving legal advice. This is advice, and you're an adult. You have to be responsible. And I know some people, I'm dealing with different levels of comprehension, different levels of education and understanding. I am learning that the hard way. Okay, so all the videos, they have not been removed by YouTube. They have been privatized by me. All right, so you guys have a good night. Bye.